tweet from what's his name, Davey Boy. He just sent this funny GIF. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MMA Advocates, presented by Carlson MMA. My name is Eddie Law. On today's show, we have, of course, Andrew Reed. We got Dave Rodriguez out of ABQ, Fred Kirby from Dayton, Ohio, and Jesse Lubacaba out of LA. We're not sure where he is, but hopefully he's in a safe spot because I keep hearing traffic, but who the fuck knows? So don't get jacked while you're on the show, or get jacked while you're on the show. It's ratings, right? All right, so let's kick off right away. We'll just go down the list here. John Jones is tweeting again, and he went off tweeting. I mean, calling him, what was he saying? He's like the daddy, or daddy's gone, so everyone else, thinks they're hot shit. That's your that guy's in your town, Dave. So what do you think of that whole thing with him coming back and talking shit again?
Yeah, man, it's a very, very strange situation, as it always is with John Jones. Anything tied to that guy, in which it stemmed from Daniel Cormier and Anthony Johnson unexpectedly, taking some shots at John. Meanwhile he's on the sideline. So we all know he's got a meeting coming up on Halloween Day, and to make matters worse or make matters better or worse, John Jones is not going to have to face Pat Lundvall. Apparently, Luke Thomas clarified that for me via tweet earlier this week. So it gets more stranger, like I said, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much we have a short period of time now, 4 or 5 days. We'll know what the next step is for Johnny Bones, and if he's possibly coming back, in which I've been one to say, 2017, definitely there's maybe an early 2017 appearance with Johnny Bones returning, but definitely it looks to be that's going to be the route that he takes, and we're all going to see what unfolds with the whatever the ASADA violation, what supplement it was, length of suspension, stuff like that. So forever interesting. Johnny Bones, the greatest of all time, pound for pound wise in the UFC. We all want to know what's going to happen here in a few days, and we'll fucking finally find out. So that's a good thing.
So sorry, Eddie. So Dave, explain that to me, because as I understood it, that means that they're kind of her term is over. Like Pat Lundvall's term is over, and she can't kind of get like back in. So now she's going to be out. Does that mean she's out before this whole thing is going to go down? So does that mean that they're going to have to appoint a new person?
Yep.
Yeah, correct. So it's unexpectedly, like I said, I know there was a tweet earlier this week where it's like somebody had said, Conor McGregor, fired Pat Lundvall, in which he has that much power and authority, in which, it's, of course he did. It's strange. Here we are. It involves, the best pound for pound fighter, one of the biggest stars in the UFC, like I mentioned, and him, getting back into the mix as soon as possible. So yeah, Jesse, it's strange. It gets stranger as we go forward, and we're going to finally find out in which, John's not going to likely be handed down a possible death sentence of like a 2-year suspension or something, which probably would have the high likelihood that could have happened. So it's still interesting what's going to come about. Yeah.
Come on, Pat Lundvall is like the dumbest person ever, because her idea of like justice is like, well, we'll just find him like 100% of his person. Yeah. Like we'll just get more money for our state. And it's so stupid. Like her idea of like punishment is always so extreme. And I think now, if you go back and look at all the other stuff that she's done in that commission, everybody else kind of has a almost like an even keel kind of like kind of pussified way of dealing with what they're dealing with, because they know that if they piss somebody off, like say Mayweather or say the UFC or anybody else, they're just going to take their business elsewhere and they're going to lose out. Which, by the way, I didn't know that Mayweather's the only person that's allowed Gatorade in the state of Nevada.
What the fuck is that?
Did you guys know that? You have to have sealed water for your fights. Okay. And apparently Mayweather somehow figured out that he could roll in with Gatorade as long as it's sealed, and that's what he uses. He uses Gatorade. And purple drink in his fights. Go look back at his fights and you'll see that he's got purple drink instead of water.
Shit, I didn't know that. I never thought about it, but I wonder what drinks he had to pull. All right, well look, John Jones comes back, right? What do you do with him? That's the question, right? Right away. What do you do with him, Andrew? It's hard for me to say give him a title shot, but if you're trying to make a money fight, you kind of give him a title shot, right?
Well, whether he deserves it or not, he's going to get it. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. So, we established last week that the UFC are now in the business of making money as opposed to making matchups. And he comes back, and whoever wins between Rumble and DC is going to get him.
Shit, Fred, what do you think is going to happen with that?
Okay, listen. Let's backtrack just a little bit here. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if what I seen was actually like real or whatnot, but I had seen a screenshot of some of the tweets that John was supposedly putting out.
Yeah.
And on a couple of them, if I'm not mistaken, he pretty much flat admitted taking steroids. I think one of them went something like, steroids didn't make me technically better. Steroids didn't make me think that I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet. Steroids didn't do this.
Can we just draw a line under this? Everybody at some point has been on steroids, whether they say it or not.
Listen,
it's immaterial.
I don't give a shit about that. They all haven't been fucking busted, and they all aren't the supposed fucking greatest of all time. The cute cocksucker can't be tweeting about taking steroids all fucking willy-nilly. Because let me explain something to you, fucking John Jones. Speaking, when you're able to train longer and harder because you took a fucking steroid that helps you, it's probably better to get technically better at throwing a jab when you can stay in the fucking gym for 3 days straight because you're goddamn on steroids. They are goddamn
disagree completely, but carry on.
Well, you know what? No, fuck that. I won't carry on. How do you disagree? If it fucking helps you fucking replenish yourself faster and you can train longer and harder than I can, how the fuck does that not help?
Okay, so you can throw a jab for 10 times longer, but if you're throwing a shit jab, you're still throwing a shit jab. It doesn't make you any better technically, does it?
But you have more time to work on your shit jab.
But if your brain is so programmed that you can't jab properly, you can train forever. Makes no odds. Fucking hell, look at Rhonda. Christ, she's been apparently with the best. She can't still fucking jab no matter how often you let her have a go.
Because she didn't put steroids in her fucking. Fuck. Listen. Okay.
And she trained with that too.
It's a bad look. It's a bad look either way. He shouldn't be tweeting shit like, "Hey, listen. So what if I pop steroids? It didn't make me the greatest of all time." Well, guess what, Johnny? It don't fucking look good. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, it definitely helped a little bit, right?
I agree with both of you guys, though. I agree both with Andy and with Fred here. Wait, in the sense that
get off the wall. True. Get off the wall, Jesse.
No. It's true. Look,
off the fence. God damn it.
Steroids help you to last longer in the gym, to be able to put more time in the gym. That's correct. But I think Andy has the right sense that if your technique is not on point, it's not going to help you in anything. You're just going to be able to go longer in the gym and keep that repetitive bad motion in the back of your head. But where steroids do help you, and here's the key thing, is your confidence. Your confidence, because you know for a fact that you have something that your opponent does not have, which is the steroid. And now if you go back and look at a bunch of people that popped for steroid before and then after, their confidence is gone. Let's go with Vitor Belfort. Let's go with Dan Henderson, because he was on his TRT. That was fine. He went off it. And what happened? He had some very boring fights where he didn't pull the trigger. Why? Because he knew that he did not have the confidence to do that. Now, you could see that his confidence has grown now that he's kind of, evolved with what he's doing in the gym and kind of gotten back into his training. But again, it's that confidence, the mental aspect that helps you. But like Andy said, if you're throwing a bad punch, you're just going to keep throwing that bad punch forever. Like Vitor, he was throwing a perfect wheel kick and was able to kick it and practice it longer. Does that mean that didn't help him? Yeah, it helped him. But it also helped him that he had the great technique.
Have you guys ever heard of a cheating cocksucker named Mark McGuire?
Yep.
Used to play baseball many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a little quote from Mr. Mark McGuire when he was popping steroids in his ass like they were going out of style. That little tiny ball that they throw fast as fuck, he said when he was all roided out, it looked like a goddamn beach ball coming at him. Now, I don't know what that means, but goddamn it, I imagine it helps you avoid jabs or punches too.
What, it gave him super eyesight?
Fucking rubbish.
Fucking hell.
Rubbish.
He took like horse steroids or some shit too. He was taking some extreme shit at the time. Yeah.
What is he talking about, dude? Like, so you're saying that John Jones or Vitor Belfort's in there thinking that freaking Dan Henderson's punch is the size of like Godzilla or something?
No.
What are you talking about?
No, but that's a good example. No, time out. Vitor's a great example though. All right, jump like it's on the TRT, murdering everybody. Off of TRT, a little nervous, and then losing everybody.
Yeah, but that's not technique, is it?
Either way,
that's not technique,
listen, you pricks. We can debate this all night long. The point is, how smart or fucking stupid was it of him to be fucking tweeting this shit out, basically admitting that he fucking did it right before his fucking trial? Like,
you know what though? The one person that's losing their fucking mind right now is Makikawa, who's been trying to get him off the charge and all that shit, get him back in the cage and whatnot. He was probably calling John like, "What the fuck are you smoking right now, dude? Get the hell off the internet."
Could this hurt him?
Yeah, he's
with in the hearing, I doubt it, but it makes him look bad.
They've got no proof on that, have they?
What's that, Andy?
Yeah, that's true.
They've got no proof on it. Just the fact that he said it is not, it's not proof, is it?
Exactly.
He just been talking shit.
Yeah.
Plus, the Nevada Athletic Commission, they're not very well known for their intelligence of looking for evidence and scouring social media to find something to put on people. So, I mean, they're just there like, okay, what can we do? 5% of your purse. Okay.
Meanwhile, John Jones is tweeting pictures of fucking needles in his ass. Like, it ain't no big deal. It didn't make me the greatest.
All right. We're going to catch up on some comments on YouTube real quick. Mike Jarb says, those tweets make Bones look like he cheated. Davey Boy's asking when is Nate Diaz's hearing. Anyone knows? Nate Diaz, when is his
you know, like November 10th, I believe, right?
I know it's November. It's way past football, so that's good to hear. Art Bell's waiting to hear Fred's. I guess now, or should be patting it sometime soon when you go, come on, English. He's waiting for that.
It's coming.
Davey's coming at you, too. He says, I can't take Fred seriously when he yells and calls John Jones a cocksucker when he's wearing a man bun.
God damn.
Hey.
Yeah, right? It's pretty cold.
Whatever, Jack. I don't claim to be the GOAT. And I ain't no fucking cheater. This is my hair. I didn't cheat to get it.
It's not a weave, all right?
Right.
Dave Madden says Andrew's cigarette is longer than any amount of time John Jones can stay out of trouble.
Tell him not to pay no attention to that.
All right. Moving on here. Let's get off the John Jones thing. You're at Faber, retiring. Goes on the MMA Hour, I think it was, and told that dude that after his next fight against Brad Pickett at I think it's in Sacramento, UFC Sacramento, he's done, retiring. He's done, finished. Now, you know, me and Dave aren't really big fans of Faber at all, but you got to give him his props, right? He you know, he's one of the pioneers, WEC champion, King of the Cage champion, Gladiator fight champion, a bunch of other things. The one thing he did not get was a UFC belt, right? And Barral stopped him, Cruz beat him, all those guys. You know, Dave, what do you think about Faber here? I mean, he's got a really strong, you know, legacy, you could say, just what he has already. Do you think it hurts a little bit that he didn't get that UFC belt?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, sort of. I mean, Uriah is just a household name, you know, in the MMA industry. People, you know the lower weight classes, you know, like we were talking before we went live. BJ Penn and Uriah were kind of them dudes that, you know, brought those lower weight classes, you know, to the big stage, I guess you could say. And then, you know, he's just got, you know, he's a pioneer. Like I said, that's the perfect way to put it. Like him or not, he's always fought the best. He's a tough bastard. He fought for the title a couple times. You know, it eluded him his entire career, but he's been a smart cat, you know, throughout his entire career. He's going to be well off, you know, besides competing in mixed martial arts, in which there's, you know, not that many MMA fighters that have the background that he does, that's going to be well off, you know, walking away from the sport. I mean, there's certain guys, you know, you can count them on one hand who are, you know, got that kind of money, right? But Faber's one of them guys. I mean, he's a company guy. He took on all comers for many years. Former champion. He's always got that win over Dominic Cruz, like it or not. He defeated that man, and yeah, Dominic hasn't lost since. So, but I think, it's something where it was interesting that they lined him up with Brad Pickett in Sacramento. I thought maybe another, you know, banger of a fight. Uriah taking on the best guys, but still, he's coming off it's a quick return for him too. He fought Jimmy Rivera not that long ago, so he's coming back in there quickly. They're putting that Sacramento card together. A lot of his teammates, in which he opened doors for a lot of his teammates, and TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt, you can name them all the alpha male guys, all of them, you know, I've found great success throughout their time with Uriah, involved with him in his camp. So props to Uriah, man, on a storied career. I mean, he's a pioneer. Much respect to him. Looking forward to seeing what goes down on that SAC card, because I think another girl, Paige Van Zandt, in the main event above Uriah Faber on that card. You know what I mean? So Uriah's opened many doors for a lot of UFC fighters. So that fight, pretty interesting fight. But I think Uriah takes Brad Pickett out in that one rather easily, in my opinion.
Rather easily. I don't know, Andy, what do you think?
didn't Uriah Faber then add an addendum to his thing and said, "But if anybody winds me up, then I'm prepared to fight again"? Didn't he say that after he made the announcement it was going to be his last fight? He then put an addendum to it. But I think it should be his last fight. He's got, Team Alpha midgets to worry about. He's done just about everything in the sport. He's not going to get another title challenge, and if he does, he's going to bottle it again. And I think they're both. I think they're both going to retire. I think they're both out. I think it's going to be a retirement fight for both of them.
I like how you say if he gets in the title fight, he's going to lose. Because Fightbook MMA on YouTube says, but Faber's always scheduled to lose when he fights for the title. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of proven. Every time he fights for it, he's loses. So, Brad, what do you think about Mr. Faber?
I mean, shit, man. Dave summed it up pretty well, man. I mean, dude's a Hall of Famer, right? Like, he's been a fucking legend in the sport forever. Yeah, man. He's super fucking tough. He's been a part of some great fights. He's never really been a boring fighter. He's always been fun and exciting to watch. The motherfucking dude never lost a non-title fight until like 7.5 hours ago.
Yeah.
Throughout his whole motherfucking career, which spanned a very long time in a sport that is very unforgiving and extremely easy to lose in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just get caught. He went a long time not getting caught, man. And he was one of the very few cats under 155 pounds that actually kind of transcended the sport and became a household name. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, he's not quite the elite of the elite. He did lose a lot of title fights. He lost the big one a lot of times. Certainly is a Hall of Famer and has a cemented legacy in MMA, man. If you're any kind of a fan of the sport, if you've been around the sport for any kind of amount of time, you know who the fuck Uriah Faber is. And if you've been around the sport for a long time, you know what that used to mean. I mean, he used to be a big draw and was a champ and, was the fucking man. Like, he's the one that really had me fucking with the WEC, for real. Like, he was the draw back then.
You still have the fashion and hair sense of a scarecrow, though.
the fashion sense of a scarecrow?
Yeah, and the hair sense. God. He could have done something about that, couldn't he?
He could have, but it's Faber's kind of crazy. Well, he's his own guy, I guess. But he's set for life. He's got businesses everywhere. He's invested in UFC gym, all that shit. So he's fine. He can not fight ever again. He'd be set. And in that interview, he was talking about he can't wait, or he's looking forward to coaching and bringing in more champions, more contenders, all those guys. So I'm sure he's going to be, he'll have plenty to do in his retirement. Minion Mac says, would have liked to have seen TJ versus Faber fight before he retired, but if he says his heart isn't in it much nowadays, fair play to him knowing when to call it a day. Now, here's the thing. When they made Cruz versus Garbrandt, which is now official, I think for UFC 207, right? I think it's coming.
Yep.
I thought immediately Faber TJ. Make that fight. You know what I mean? Now, they had already scheduled Faber and Pickett, but I mean, don't tell me that if you go up to Faber, like, hey, man, TJ's available. You want to fight him? I mean, you would – Fred, if you're Faber, you take that fight, right?
Well, of course, Faber would, I would imagine. But like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for TJ at this point, does it?
Not at all.
Like, quite shit, you could argue that TJ should be fighting Cruz. Like, he's cute, he's got his tattoos, and he's a power puncher, but TJ's fucking record is kind of impeccable. He barely lost to Cruz, and then he snuffed out a sunset rather handily. I mean, it's kind of his shot, low key. So, I mean, the Faber fight has some heat, and it would be fun. But at this point in Faber's career, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And TJ's career, for that matter, TJ should be fighting either Cruz or, I don't know, Lineker, maybe fucking Brian Caraway's gay ass, like somebody like that. But I don't think it's a fight that Faber deserves, to be completely honest at this point.
Yeah. And what do you guys think of when they talked to Uriah recently? I forgot who did the interview, but he said that he's going to happily, accept the role, with the UFC continuing, like, whatever they want to do, WME effect. What do you guys think? We see Uriah Faber in a movie, or is he in a sitcom, or go that route? It seems like, you know what I mean? You count. I mean, there's quite a few of them. You got Donald Cerrone on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. there's all these guys. Connor's in Call of Duty, so Uriah Faber might just be one of them guys who transitions to making movies or making a TV show or some shit like that as well.
Look, I don't know if Faber working for the UFC. I don't know. They're firing everybody, so I don't think they're hiring shit for a minute. But as far as that goes, I mean, look, he's an ambassador to sport. They'll use him as an ambassador to sport. But if I'm Faber, dude, I honestly don't want to work for WME or anybody like that or UFC. I'd rather, I have plenty of business on my own. Just fucking do that. Yeah. Be comfortable. Why deal with UFC bullshit with all this we're firing left and right. Bye-bye most of Canada and almost all of Asia. Like that kind of shit going on all the time. I mean, I think what was that? Someone tweeted me, tagged me in a tweet to Matt Hughes about, fighters are gonna get fired now, guys like Matt Hughes, guys like Chuck Liddell. And Matt Hughes is like, no, it's not gonna be us. Like he already knows, but you never know, right? UFC's kind of crazy. So yeah, I don't know, man. If I'm Faber, I don't work for the UFC at all.
Good job of running a fight team, right? No matter how much that English prick tries to tear them down by calling them midgets, they're actually quite successful in the grand scheme of things.
I never said they weren't. They're just successful midgets.
Most of the guys on that team have gotten title shots. Most have lost, but
so yeah. I mean, I think he should just kind of stay where he's at, man. He makes a good coach.
Yeah.
Run the team.
That's what I would do. Anybody else on that one?
Nope.
No? All right. Well, Davey Boy brings up, pretty much completely, well, not completely, but sort of mostly unrelated. He says Dave Scholler and Joe Silva leave. Kawajiri requests his release and signs with Ryzen, and Faber is retiring. Is anyone thinking that maybe people are not liking the new UFC?
Of course.
I think it's too early to tell. I think obviously, listen, people are afraid of change, right? We're all used to Joe Silva, and we like it's the devil, man. But I think that people are a bit quick. They're like, oh my God, they're laying everybody off. They're laying off the whole Canadian office, and they're laying off the whole fucking European blase. Mm-hmm. Listen, maybe they are. Maybe they're fucking up and stripping it for parts. Maybe not. Maybe they're trimming the fat. Maybe they're going to replace it with people that do the job better. I mean, let's not act like motherfuckers ain't like low-key hated on the UFC for their production. Goddamn Mike Goldberg. People hate that fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of shit to hate there. So maybe we all ought to just chill the fuck out and see what happens.
He'll be the last to go. Goldberg will be there to the bitter end. Huh?
Of course he will.
Yeah. Oh, Rogan will bail. The pain. Yeah, but look, it's really weird. Like he has a point. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, "Oh, after this new UFC," like we were saying before the show started, a certain MMA reporter, started going, "Oh, I feel bad. All these guys in Canada are getting fired. All these guys in Asia are getting fired." Probably doesn't give a shit, really. But he says that on the show. But for real, they're letting go a bunch of guys. Now, the idea supposedly is that they're using their own guys from their company to basically replace those guys. So they had a bunch of redundant positions, supposedly, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing we do know is they also got to pay back a giant loan, and they want to do it as soon as possible so they can make some profit and probably sell it, sell the UFC or whatever in the somewhat near future, right? Because you're trying to make I think Andy was the one that said it. You're trying to make a profit or turn a profit as quick as possible, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've done a little bit further digging into WME, and they're quite a remarkable company, really, in the amount of money they've invested in the last 10 years and the amount of people they've acquired. But it seems to me very much like they're a private equity firm, and that doesn't ring true. I mean, they bought into Miss World off of Trump the other month, didn't they? They've done all sorts of dodgy stuff around the sides. They're signing up fighters all over the place. I don't like the way it's being run at the moment. I'm pretty sure that they are going to trim it back as far as they can and try and return a profit within 5 years. And once they do that, then they'll move on, because that's how equity companies, private investment work. They want the quick profit and they want the quick turnaround. If they were after a 10-year investment, I'd say something completely different. I'd say that they had plenty of time to rearrange it and change it into what they wanted to do. But the way they're making cuts now is the fact that they've invested $4 billion. They've got thousands of investors that have paid into that, and they paid some of them a minimum of $250,000 each. if you're investing that kind of money, you want it back pretty quickly. It's not the sort of thing that you can just have in your wallet. You know, it's part of your savings. And I don't think that that they're going to be in this for the long term at all.
Yeah, Jesse, what do you think, man? Is this new UFC just bad or worse than it used to be?
No, I don't think so. And I think nobody can. Well, let me say that initially. I don't think we can judge anything until at least a year or two out, because the first thing a company does when they acquire another company is see where they can trim as much fat or whatever they can, where they can save some money. And if, like, as we know, WME is a big company, so I'm sure they have people that are capable of running these Canadian offices, you know, European offices. I'm sure they have one guy that can do all of that, you know, that has the proper training of being able to open markets, be able to, you know, negotiate deals, you know, in foreign affairs and stuff. And I think they know that. And I think, and here's the thing, none of this was a surprise to any of the executives, which is the funny thing.
Mm-hmm.
All of them knew ahead of time. And like Dave Schaller, he took a job somewhere else, and a lot of them decided, hey, you know what, I'm just going to go. I don't have, you know, no more skin in the game. I'm just going to get out right now. And that's what happened. You know, and I think everybody in that company right now knows what's coming. And what's coming is that they're going to bring in people. They're going to bring in people that they are already established with that company, WME. And I think they're the ones that are going to basically run as much as they can without having to, you know, rely on the people that UFC has kind of brought up and, you know, kind of taught these jobs, apparently, you know. So I don't think we can really judge that. It's kind of like when Bellator lost their president, CEO, whatever, right? We couldn't judge anything that the new guy, when he stepped in, we couldn't judge anything for a while because he had to pay off a bunch of promises that, you know, the last guy did the tournaments, going to Indian casinos a certain amount of times in the next year and all that stuff. They had to pay all that off, and now we're starting to see what is the new plan, right? Which is, you know, bringing in older legendary athletes to kind of bring in more eyeballs to their corporation, their company. And I think it's going to be like that with this UFC deal. It's going to take a while for us to kind of see the wheels turning, and eventually we're going to see kind of what their vision is for the future. Not right now. I don't think we're going to see anything, and I don't think it's going to be noticeable at all until probably 2-3 years from now.
Yeah, and you're probably right. I mean, look, just all those points altogether are you know, they're correct. Now, Dave Manning says on YouTube, says, I wonder if they're trying to make a splash quickly. Ronda, Conor, etc. Andrew's right. It's not being run well right now. I was imagining the UFC's future as twice as big. And you would think, you know what I mean, they sold it $4 billion.
It will never get that big. It will never get that big.
No, I don't think so either.
Listen. Has anybody actually seen the show Entourage?
A little bit.
I have.
Did you actually watch it? Was you a fan of it?
Yeah, I was. For a short period of time, I watched it. So, yeah, like you mentioned how the character of Ari Gold, Ari Emanuel. I mean,
yeah. Like, I actually watched it. I know you didn't, Andrew, you fucking snobby film buff. Of course you didn't watch a bloody minute of it, I'm fucking sure. But
You're right, I didn't.
I know you fucking didn't. Of course you didn't.
Absolute bag of shit.
Fucking watching a goddamn foreign film, no doubt. Fucking a French bourgeois. Well, I did. And I sometimes wonder, supposedly the Ari character was based upon this Ari Emanuel. I wonder how much of that shit's based in reality. Because if so, the Ari character from the show was very fucking, you know, almost like Dana White on steroids in his heyday.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's necessarily how that cat is in real life. You know what I'm saying? They wrote his character in that show. But if he is even remotely like that in real life, shit's going to get really interesting. I'm not surprised about the GSP thing or nothing. You know what I'm saying? If that is remotely true, because he seems like a very hard-nosed dickhead. I've got a lot of money, and fuck you, I'll burn this whole thing down before I let you get one over on me type of guy. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's basically like, you know, with the Ari being, you know, Dana's boss. I mean, with the sale, Dana's, you know, billionaire now. You know what I mean? He probably sees everything just a little bit differently. He's not the same guy. Like Eddie and I have talked. You just don't see the guy. He used to be a pretty available guy, host conference. He'd hold the press conference himself. It's a whole different deal now. So We've seen the recent, 13 fighters cut. They're cutting back, like Andrew said, and I think the cuts continue. But I'm with my man Eugene S. Robinson on this, in which they bought the company for a reason. I would hope that they're planning to make a better product to improve the UFC, in which they're going to improve their assets, and they're going to try to make their money back as quickly as possible. But in that process, I know we touched on it a little bit on the previous show. I mean, do they completely just go with circus fights and kind of fuck up the sport somewhat, in which, we're kind of seeing a little bit about it. I mean, Jesse said, it's kind of too early to tell, but we're sort of seeing, where we're steering towards, what we're going towards. And, it's all about the money. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And
generally speaking about circus fights and being all about the money, sorry to just completely change the topic right quick.
Okay.
What the fuck is up with Michael Bisping being in these weird, like it was supposed to be GSP and now it's like Nick Diaz?
That's what I want to talk about next. That's what I want to talk about. I was going to bring that up next because GSP, everyone wants, first of all, everyone wants to fight GSP, right? Everyone's calling him out. But Michael Bisping gets out there and tweets up GSP going, hey, come on, man, be a hero. Let's fight at UFC 206, and everyone wants to make money, whatever. Today, GSP, replied with a video that basically said nothing new.
Piss poor, that response.
Pretty much. And so now everyone's talking, Nick Diaz has been offered a title fight against Michael Bisping. Now, this is what we're talking about. This is the new UFC, right? It's not about matchups. It's about money. That would make a lot of money. Can you imagine the shit talk leading up to that fucking fight? Okay? It might even be more fun to listen to than Conor Nate. Probably would be more fun to listen to than Conor Nate. Right?
Way more fun. I'm just curious. Andrew, love it or hate it?
What?
That fight.
If they give Nick Diaz a title shot against Bisping.
As somebody that wants to watch a decent fight, I'll love it. Whether he deserves it or not, and a big Nick Diaz fan I am, I don't think he deserves it. But this goes back to what WME got above and beyond everything else. They've got one of the best marketing machines on the planet. And this is all stemming from them. This isn't the fighters talking at the end of the day. This is all being stirred behind the scenes with WME offering fights all over the place and getting people to make it public. And it just stirs controversy and it stirs comment. And that puts eyes on the product. This isn't, this isn't fabricated. This is all planned.
Of course.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And it has everything to do with GSP too. Before I'll let you do your thing, Jesse. I think the GSP deal, in my opinion, that's what they're doing. They're kind of brewing this up to where it might even lead to like a Conor GSP fight. You know what I mean? Something like that for a big time fucking showdown. But that's what if they want to keep GSP guessing, and this is just like a marketing
They've
deal.
already told GSP what's going to happen. They're just waiting for the right time. They know he's coming back. All this backwards and forward shit, they've already sorted it. But they just leave it lingering longer and longer, and it makes people more keen to see it. There's a tipping point where everybody just go, fucking either do it or don't. But at the moment, it isn't. They've not reached that tipping point, and they'll keep playing it until they do.
So, whoa. So you think he's definitely coming back for sure?
Yeah, of course he is.
Yeah.
When do you think we'll see him back?
When whoever decides that it's going to be announced, but it will happen.
I mean, but just curiosity, personal opinion, you think it'll be before the end of the year?
No.
Nah.
They've got too much on before then. True. How many title fights have they got booked in between now and then?
Oh shit! They got 3-on-1 card in fucking New York. So shit.
True.
Yeah. Jesse, what were you gonna say?
Based on that, I think Andy's right. I think the people at WME, they know exactly what's going to happen, and I think they know exactly what creates the publicity. It's the drama. The more drama there is, the more people talk about it. Right now, if you go on ESPN, they're talking about GSP, how they're screwing them. And all the media outlets are trying to find out what's GSP doing. What's he doing in Las Vegas? Oh, he's in Las Vegas right now. He says he's chilling, but maybe he's making a deal. I think that they're pretty smart. They know that there's Ariel Helwani out there, and if they tell people what their plan is, Helwani's gonna sniff it out and put it out there. I think they learned from the Brock Lesnar debacle thing that they got all pissed off and banned him. And I think they're putting him on a short leash and putting everybody on a short leash. I think that they already know the deal that they're going to make with GSP. And I think we're not going to find out until 205 when they that night. I think they're gonna hit us with a video package, the end of the year card or one of those cards and up, and boom, we're gonna see GSP versus who knows,
Connor.
Anderson Silva, somebody. You know, I think that's what we're gonna get. and you guys are gonna laugh. Why Anderson Silva? Why Anderson Silva? Why not? Like, we're talking about money fights, right?
No, I was just gonna say why you say Ariel's gonna sniff it out.
Come on.
Shit.
Come on with
Jesse,
that
I
nose.
thought,
I'm just
Get
saying.
a big nose joke. Good.
no, Jesse, I thought you said you're expecting Connor's announcement to be that he's the new owner of WME. That's what I'm banking on. That's what I think it is, man.
He'll say
Owner of WME, goddamn son.
He may be rich, but he doesn't have $5 billion to throw away.
Okay.
Yeah, no shit, right?
All right. Well, he's a partial owner of the UFC. Then let's put it that way. Then
That's definitely probably the low key best bet. If you're taking bets, I mean, I'll put money on that. That's probably like his announcement that he invested into that round of investments that they were looking for from celebrities. You know, I wouldn't be doubtful. I mean, Connor's a smart business guy in the sense that he knows that if he can put money somewhere and invest in something that's gonna, you know, give him money in perpetuity, that's just smart business deal, right? I mean, he has money to put away.
Listen, and what's his motto?
You know,
make money quickly and get out of there.
Yeah.
You know what his announcement's going to be? I'm going to Disney World, bitches. Trolling the shit out of all you. You guys really think there's some big special thing coming, don't you? The whole lot of you.
Wait, from Connor?
He's going to retire. He's going to walk away early.
Oh, dude, no. He's gonna chill for like a year. He's got a kid and shit coming up.
It's something so small and like relevant that everybody's gonna be like, that was it. Oh no, something happened that night. He lost. You know, it's gonna be such BS.
It all boils down to the fact that he saw one of his teammates get killed in the cage.
Yeah.
And that still plays on his head. And if he can make as much money as quickly as possible and get out of the cage, he will. Whatever he does with his business stuff, I don't know, but that still plays on him. Don't forget that.
Well, what if Eddie Alvarez beats the living shit out of him? Then what does he announce?
He'll try and get down to 145 again.
Yeah.
Then he's going to fucking Disney World. What the fuck? He's still rich as shit. He's trolling us. I honestly don't think there's some big announcement, man. Yeah. It's just like Dana White saying he's got a big announcement. It's just another thing for us to fucking cling on to. Like when he said, it's been real. Thanks for the coin. I'm out. And everybody's panties got wet. It's a fucking tweet. He ain't doing shit one way or the other. He loses this fight. He goes back to 45. He wins. He probably fights Khabib somewhere on planet Earth.
You know what? The funny thing is, you know, Connor was sitting there with all like his friends and teammates and shit. Like, check us out. Watch the internet explode on all these blog sites. Freak the fuck out. He sent that tweet, and 2 minutes later, the world exploded. I mean, ESPN put it up on TV immediately. That dude knows what the fuck he's doing.
I bet you he saw that Kim Kardashian break the internet thing. He's like, nah, she didn't break the internet. Watch this. I'll break the internet. Bam.
That was that one morning where Twitter wasn't working.
He even said it like in a later interview that he was just kind of bored at the gym fucking about. And then it blew the fuck up. Like, you know, he's just so famous that every time he says something, people are like, oh my God, he's going to give us something. What the fuck announcement could he make? He ain't God.
And watch.
Fucking H. Christ reincarnated. He just won a fight or he didn't.
He's in Call of Duty. Usually when guys like that get on Call of Duty, it's like a really small role. He's barely doing anything, right? It's like it's not like you play as Conor McGregor, right? But the sales that game's gonna make just because he's on it is gonna be stupid, just ridiculous numbers for sure. Medium Mac has a little point here. It says UFC has too many cards and fighters that fans don't give a shit about. The world domination plan is over. Cut costs and maximize profits. Less events, smaller roster equals stronger cards every time. Now, isn't that what we've been asking for a while? Like less events, make them better.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. It's a really good point, man. I seen on I think I don't know, whatever fucking the MMA, whatever the fuck earlier today, they were talking about the fact that it seems like they might be giving up on the European markets and like Japan and China. They sunk a lot of money into China, and for what? You know, they did the Ultimate Fighter in China, Tough China, and for what? It didn't bring in no new talent. They probably just lost a lot of money. And, you know, like we've been saying, man, these new cats, they understand business and money and shit. They're probably just like, fucking piss on China. I don't give a rat's ass if we don't sell $1 worth in China. As long as we're selling out here in the States and maybe Canada and Brazil and our main core markets, they're probably like, you know, fuck Yugoslavia, fuck Japan, fuck all these weird countries where we have to like force it in the hole. Like all the shit with Germany and all that.
Maybe that's why
they're probably just like.
Yeah, but do you know what I think they're going to do? I think you're definitely right. They are going to start cutting back on fights outside the States, full stop, I think. But if you've noticed, obviously, what they've been doing over the last few months with Fight Pass is buying a lot of rights to screen overseas events. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think they'll cut back on the touring, because to tour an event like that, just the people they ship out and back and the kit, that's cost them a fortune. So they'll cut back on that. When you've got ready-made fights happening in Asia, you've got ready-made fights happening in Russia, you've got ready-made fights happening in China, just buy the rights to it, because they won't be expensive. And then you put that on Fight Pass, and then you've got your overseas fighters. You can gauge whether they're going to be coming to the UFC or not, and you've solved your problem to a certain extent.
I agree with that, but then the big thing you guys got to remember though is they still have a certain amount of events that they promised to Fox Sports and Fox Sports 1 and all that. So they still have a certain amount of events that they have to pull off next year. I think they still got 2 more years on that deal before they can renegotiate. Although, in my opinion, I think WME is probably smart enough to be able to go in there. Look, this year we're going to do this for you guys, blah, 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 and then we're going to renegotiate at the end of the next year, and we're going to restructure this whole deal. I think that's probably what they're going to do, and I think Andy's right in that. If you look at what's been going on recently, I kind of feel like they've abandoned the U.S. market. I mean, they kind of go around and give weak cards to a lot of like other markets here in the U.S. and they bring big cards like to other markets because they want to open that market up. You know, like they were putting BJ Penn, one of the best fighters in the Philippines. Like honestly, like that BJ Penn needs to be, you know, in Vegas or New York or one of those big cards, or even Toronto, you know, like that's a big name that a lot of people can get behind. Like small markets, I mean, that they're barely getting into, like, what does that mean to them? Oh, they see one big, huge, like, legend of the sport, and then the next time they come, they're going to bring, you know, I don't know, the Barn Cat or something as a main event. Nobody's going to go to that event, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just, like, overextending themselves, but I think if they pull back and they do all the events here, in the States, you know, Mexico, Canada, whatever, I think that's where they're gonna make the most impact.
Well, they're not gonna put Barncat on the main event ever because he's cut.
Hey,
cut.
I like the goddamn.
I do too. I'm a fan of the Barncat. I like the Barncat. I want him to stay. Fuck.
Yeah, speaking on those cuts, we had 13 fighters cut, and we have a Bigfoot Silva in talks for fighting in Russia. Andrew, I know we talked a little bit about it, and you know a little bit more about the organization or who he's planning on fighting for and earning a $500,000 payday. Is that correct? And
yep.
Well, actually, yeah, he's been promised a $500,000 payday. Let's put it that way. The guy that runs the company is got dodgy links to certain areas that you don't want dodgy links to, basically, and it's happening all over Russia. And I think the guy that is sponsoring the fight has already done it with fighters before. He's promised them stuff and never paid them, and people are too frightened to go up to him and say, give us some money, because he'll just have you shot. You know, there's if you look at, I mean, and it's happening all over. I mean, look at what happened to Faber's daughter the other week. You know,
it's boxing too, right? Correct, Andrew? That's right. They want him to, it's a boxing event too.
Yeah, from what I hear, yeah.
Wow.
You know, and you say the wrong thing out of line, and you know, like I say, even Fedor, he says something that somebody doesn't agree with, and that somebody has got friends that decide that I'm going to go and give Fedor's daughter a bit of a slap, which is a bit of a, you know, a brave man, if you ask me. But it's the point that over there the rules are completely different, and if he thinks he's going to get $500,000 for his fight, he's got no chance.
Everyone here, you guys know who Izzy Garcia is on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys read the thing he put out, like article that he put out?
Nope.
Okay, so he put out basically talking about with the Verdun cover, but it's like you know, basically talking about fighters don't give a shit. The money comes from dodgy ass areas, just like Andy was saying. Dude, you'll be surprised. I read that. I knew some of it. I didn't know all the stuff that he was pointing out. There's a lot of shady motherfuckers in this game, and like way more than I thought there was. I knew there was some. I didn't know there was so damn many. And it was just
prize fighting, man.
Exactly. Just like when boxing had a bunch of shady fuckers, it still does have a bunch of shady fuckers.
Yeah.
MMA is the same way.
The two biggest organisations that we know of in Russia, ACB and EFN. If you think they're run by some, suave businessman that's legit across the board, you've got another thing coming. These are oligarchs that have got mafia connections. That's what they are. It's their plaything. They've just got a few billion to spend, and they'll do that. You disagree with them, they'll just take you out the back of them, put a big pickaxe in the back of your head. They don't mess about over there.
El Chapo's gonna fucking buy WSOF and run it like his fucking playground too. Watch, goddamn.
WSOF. They definitely need that investment though, for sure.
Oh, they need a lot of help right now. All right, WSOF is in some trouble. All right, look, you cut 2 events, and all of a sudden you have a major New York City event. Come the fuck on. All right, and it's in the theater of Madison Square Garden, not even in the main. Couple comments here. Almighty Hamilton on freaking YouTube says. If Conor wins, he's gonna go fight Mayweather. Go for it. I don't know. And it's not gonna happen. But if he does, it'll be a lot of money.
Amir Khan.
And now if he fights Amir Khan, I'm more interested in that. Okay, because Amir Khan will stand with him.
Amir Khan will smash him to pieces.
And Amir Khan will send like a fucking volley of jabs and twos and just fuck him up.
Easy. Conor didn't have a chance in hell at fighting Floyd when Zuffa owned the company.
Yeah.
Fucking WME ain't gonna bit more let Conor go nowhere than the man on the moon. That fight will never ever happen. It's enough with it.
Well, I like a lot of money off of it.
I like Eddie's idea of Khabib and
but they're not gonna make that money.
Right.
Khabib and Conor in Ireland.
Yeah, where just a war breaks out and no one fucking makes it out alive but Conor.
Oh, dude, can you imagine how many mafiosos are going to show up to that shit? The crowd would just explode, all right? And you just see Khabib and Conor running for it.
And remember, a weigh-in for a boxing fight the other month, somebody just got shot in the head at the weigh-in live on TV. So they don't muck around in Belfast.
Right. So anyway,
in places like that.
So Mike Jarvis sent us that Izzy's article, so I'm gonna retweet it. But check it out and let me know what you guys think, because it was like it's trippy. I mean, fucking Verdum is working with some shady ass dude now, and like everyone's dodging questions about it. Derek Brunson's dodging questions about Ali. The dude that's like manager to a bunch of UFC fighters, Frankie Edgar, Derek Brunson, all these guys. It's super shady, so check that out for sure. All right, moving on here. Some fights that have been made. Let's talk Cruz Garbrandt. Now Cody Garbrandt, was yelling for it. He knocked out Almeida. He's like, "Oh, give me a title shot." They gave him the title shot. I don't see Garbrandt even touching Cruz. You know what I mean? He's gonna be jumping back and forth like a psycho. You know what I mean? It'll be ridiculous. But Fred, what do you think of that fight?
I mean, listen. I also didn't see Gonzaga head kicking Crow Cop. But lo and behold, history reads it that's what the fuck happened. So, I mean, I highly doubt he beats Cruz, but he does punch really hard. Interesting. And what's the alternative? Cruz fights Dillashaw for a second time. Yeah, which would be okay. But, I mean, I'm down with this, all things considered. If it's not going to be TJ, this is a fine, runner-up. We definitely don't want silly-ass Brian Caraway.
God, no.
Fucking sneaking in there and getting the chance, you know what I'm saying? So we need to get him beat right quick before he fucks around and gets a title fight. I mean, I could think of worse guys for it to be, man. And yeah, I mean, I think that Cruz will probably obviously be a huge favorite for obvious reasons. But it should be fun for the first round or two. And then it's all downhill for old Cody. But, he could catch him in that first round. Anything's possible.
Definitely. I think he can catch him in the first or second round. I mean, and Frederick on YouTube says, I think he can. I don't think you're giving Garbrandt's movement enough credit. I think he can and will catch Cruz with a swift, sick hook. So, I mean, he could.
He
right?
can.
Let's talk about that. He can. But Cruz's footwork is ridiculous, though. I mean, it's insane. I mean, TJ was supposed to be like the copy of Cruz, and the original was just, getting away from punches like no other. Now, it was a close fight, but still, you know what I mean? He made TJ look slow a lot of the time.
Did you guys watch? I think is the Joe Rogan. What was it? The fight companion for that Glory kickboxing.
I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, I know it's a tough ask. It's like 5 hours and change.
Yeah.
But obviously I drive around all day, so I have 5 hours to burn. But
Shit.
it was interesting because he was talking in there about what is it, an underground article that somebody posted about all the different pathways basically that what's his name, Dominic Cruz has at his disposal. He basically broke down every single movement that he's shown in all his fights, and he was saying that there's a ridiculous amount of stuff that he can do, that he just has more ways, more options to confuse people, like his footwork, his in and out movements, everything. And he kind of broke it down to what he's seen in each fight and just how many different angles he can hit you from and he can move at. But I think the thing is that judging that fight, in my opinion, right now, I think that Garbrandt has a really good shot at beating him. And the thing is, the reason is because not only his movement, but because we've also seen Dominic Cruz's movement slow down. And it's not because he's getting old, but I think it's because of the pressure that he puts and the everything that he puts on his body, especially with that plantar fasciitis or whatever that he's recently started getting. And you could tell in his last fight, so hindered. He was getting cracked a little bit more by Uriah Faber. Nothing was hurting him because he was able to still move with the punches, but he was still getting caught. And I think with a very young and motivated Cody Garbrandt being able to exploit that, if Cruz isn't at his best that night, I think he might get knocked out.
Andy, you agree with that?
Yeah, basically, I think Garbrandt's got a chance. I don't want to see him win because I can't stand the little fucker. But he's got a chance, but I do think that Cruz's movement is just too slick for him. Even if he's not at his best, I still think that's infinitely better than Garbrandt's ever dealt with before. And I think that's going to confuse the crap out of him. He'll come out swinging for the first, minute and a half. If he can weather that storm, then I think Cruz will just find his range and start picking him apart. And Garbrandt just won't have a clue what he's dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, until you get in there with Cruz, you have no idea, really. Dave Madden on YouTube says that herky-jerky Team Alpha Male style with Cody's boxing should produce more interesting results than merely pushing straight ahead. And Frederick Erickson agrees, says, that's what I'm thinking. It's awkward, but makes sense against someone like Cruz, who's even more awkward. So, like we said, I mean, he's got a really good chance, but it's just hard to see, unless he finishes him in the first or second round, it's hard to see him be able to hang for 5 rounds with Cruz. But
we've seen that herky-jerky style go up against Cruz, 3-4 times now? I mean, TJ kind of had it. Then Uriah Faber had it. There's been so many people from Team Alpha Male that have tried that style and it hasn't worked. I think he's figured that style out, I think, at this point. So I think they need to try something different.
I hope Dominic don't get too confident.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope he don't overlook dude, you know what I'm saying, and start buying his own hype. Like, yeah, I am the movement king. And because, man, you're only a cunt hair away every time from, you know what I'm saying, you dip when you should have fucking dapped and you get your funny ass knocked the fuck out. You can't redo it. So he's very, very good. But, you know what I'm saying, Cody does have one punch knockout power. That's something that has to be fucking accounted for.
Yeah, don't do a gay guard Musashi against blooming Uriah Hall 1, do you?
You know what? That's the only area that I will never question Dominic Cruz in. Ever since I heard that story from Brendan Schaub, when they were having a go-kart race and Dominic Cruz was in the corner, pumping himself up, talking to himself, saying, "They don't want you to win. They don't want you to win. No, they don't want you." Pumping himself up for a stupid little race. That guy's a competitor through and through. He doesn't take anybody lightly. He'll pump himself up and get ready to beat your ass for a game of checkers, dude. So he's an infinite competitor. At least that I'm not worried about. It's his physical body that I'm more worried about, him physically getting to the fight and being able to perform at his best.
You know what? Brendan Schwab is like the goddamn Donald Trump of MMA. I can't stand that boy's face.
Oh, jeez.
Side
hey, who would y'all take if it was Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt? Who you guys got?
Saying.
It was Dillashaw versus Cody?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like Garbrandt in that one. I like Garbrandt because TJ gets frustrated pretty quick, and
He does.
Yeah,
you
see,
can catch him.
go
You can
after
catch
it.
him real fast. Yeah, you can catch him. You can catch TJ any day.
see,
I
I
like
think that
TJ.
fight would have been well. I mean, Garbrandt, he's deserving of it. He's been knocking people fucking out senseless, so he's deserving of it. I think it's Team Alpha Male's best shot to pull gold from Dominic. I mean, it's Dominic Cruz. Shit hasn't changed since UFC 132. He's
Yeah.
been the champ.
God, imagine that.
Yeah,
Listen, man.
Dillashaw had his
God,
little
imagine
run,
that,
but
though.
I mean, up against Cruz, like you guys are saying, I mean, like his style, it may play right into what Cody wants to do, but like we've all seen, Cruz has kind of figured that style out. But Cody just packs those heavy hands. I think if he's able to hurt Cruz, he could hinder his movement, in which that'll help him later in the fight if it happens to be a long fight. But like Jesse said, Dominic Cruz's footwork, it's somewhat taxing on him right now, and I think he's going to have to show up the best Cruz to beat Cody Garbrandt that night, in which I fully expect that to happen. And the trash talk will be great. But then again, like on a side note, that Dillashaw fight, I think it would bring a different Cody Garbrandt to the table. Likewise with Dillashaw, it'd be a real heated guys fighting real emotional in that one. So anything goes in that fight. But I'm totally high on Cruz. Been so for many years. Cody Garbrandt's a young stud. It's an excellent title fight. I'm glad that it's finally fucking booked. So we have ourselves a great card overall. So.
All right, got a couple more things to talk about, and then we're gonna end the show. But real quick, Andy brought it up: Uriah Hall versus Gegard Mousasi Part 2. Gunnar Nelson gets injured, so that fight against Stun Gun is out. Actually, Gunnar Nelson they did like a Facebook Live fucking open workout the UFC account did, and you actually see and hear the part where Gunnar Nelson's ankle pops or clicks or whatever the sound was, and it's freaking awful. To be honest with you, after I heard it like 3 times, but. That fight's out. Main event, Uriah Hall, Gegard Mousasi Part 2. The first time around, and a lot of people were saying that was a fluke, right? Uriah Hall caught Gegard. Gegard wasn't ready, whatever the hell it was. Fred, what do you think happens in this fight?
It most certainly was a fluke. I think Gegard makes it right. I think I said it that night, man. I think Gegard wins that fight 9 times out of 10. That was Uriah's one. That was it. This isn't that he will lose. Not only will I think Gegard will win the fight, but he'll finish it within 2 rounds.
All right. What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I actually agree with Fred. I mean, I think that opening that was afforded to Uriah Hall was a different Gegard Mousasi. I think Mousasi was very, very lax in his approach to Uriah Hall. And if you've seen how Mousasi has approached his last couple fights, I mean, he is on fire. He's on a mission to fight for that title, because I think he realizes that his time kind of drying up. Plus the fact that, we weren't talking about his win streak up until that point, up until it got stopped. And he was like, what the hell, man? Like, what do I have to do to be the star? And I think that loss kind of motivated him or remotivated him. And I think we're going to see a completely different Mousasi in that fight. I think we might see the Mousasi that came in and utterly destroyed. Who was his last opponent that he just put to bed real quickly?
Vitor?
Yeah, there you go. It's Vitor, right? Yeah, one
Vitor.
round. I think that's what we're going to see out of that fight. I think a very motivated Mousasi, 1 round, finishes the fight.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, that's a good point. I mean, I agree to that too, because on the point of that, Derek Brunson just knocked the living shit out of Uriah Hall. So him coming up a short turnaround, he's taking this fight in which we made the point of Fred made a good point about Gegard Mousasi, fighting the top level guys. He gets up for those fights. So this time around, I mean, Uriah is a top name. He's right in the mix there, but it's a rematch. He wants to get that win back. It's lightning striking twice, I guess, if Uriah Hall ends up beating him, in some similar type of fashion. But I'm Gegard Mousasi all the way. I think he wanted to fight bad. I mean, he was calling out everybody. So they got him Uriah Hall, and it's a hell of a better main event than Gunnar Nelson and Dong Hyun Kim. So I love that. It's a whole lot better fucking fight. But Gegard all the way. He'll find himself in a title fight in 2017.
Definitely. Andy, who are you picking in this one?
Well, if you think Uriah Hall's going to win, go and get your head tested. It's not good. It's just not going to happen. It was. I don't believe in flukes in MMA. At the end of the day, it wasn't a fluke. It was an opportune moment that happened to cost him the fight. But Yeah, it's not going to happen again. He's like Jesse said, he's just on a tear up now. He's trying to put people away as quickly as possible to make a point, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Uriah Hall can, say his prayers before he get in the cage, basically.
Jeez. All right. And I'm taking Mousasi as well. Dude's just on a roll, and people are talking about him going for getting a title shot. But every guy that loses wants to get that win back, right, or that fight back. So wants to get he's gonna. I think he's gonna destroy Uriah Hall. I really do. All right. Last segment of the show, and we're gonna open up the floor to our boy Fred Kirby, because we have a new segment here. And what are we calling it again? Anyone remember the name?
We're gonna call this next segment the cunt of the week.
Okay, go ahead.
Where we are all going to agree before the show on one particular cunt in the MMA world. It might be a journalist, a super fan, a fighter, Dana White, whoever. But we're going to pick somebody who's been extra fucking cunty, and we're going to call them out on the show because none of us get paid to do this. This isn't our job, and we don't give a fuck who we offend. We don't have no passes to be taken. So, go fuck yourself. And I'm going to open up the floor tonight by calling Mr. Jonathan Snowden, the lead writer for the almighty Bleacher Report, the biggest fucking cunt of the week. You should mind your own fucking business, Jonathan Snowden. You don't have to bump into everybody's fucking tweet column and put your fucking stupid 2 cents in. B, you should watch who you tell to shut the fuck up on Twitter, because everybody doesn't take everything as a big fucking joke. C, if everybody seems to fucking feel the same way about you, and everybody on Twitter seems to think that you're a fucking douchebag, and it's universal, you're probably a fucking douchebag. It's clearly justified to say that Jonathan Snowden, clearly by a mile this week, is the fucking cunt of the week.
Oh man, you're getting like a standing ovation on the YouTube comments, man.
Dude's a fucking listen. All bullshit aside, the dude is an asshole. He's very douchey. He comes across like he's God's gift to fucking MMA journalism, and he's a 6-figure man that needs to brag about this on Twitter. He's a fucking douchebag, And watch your mouth, bro. Shit's real.
Yeah, but don't forget he's a trained lawyer.
He should be. He should be. He's still got to sip through a fucking straw if he don't watch his mouth. And I got a little bit of money, so sue me. It'll be worth breaking your fucking jaw.
I think my opinion is that he should be every week, basically. There is nobody I know in the MMA world that is more of a prick than that fuckweed. Just fuck off into it, and he doesn't come out of his house in the morning. He slithers out of a bloody haunted mirror. That fuckwit. He's just a fucking moron.
He slithers out. Sorry. The visual I got from that was fucking amazing. Go ahead.
Honestly, if anybody even rates a tenth of what he writes, go and shoot yourself. You're not worth to be on the planet just as much as he isn't. Idiot. MMA cunt of the week every week for the next however long he's even involved in MMA. And then we can just have a second one from now on.
The secondary, we're gonna have a secondary cunt of the week. This is what it's gonna be. All right. We're gonna end it like that because that's too good.
Okay, listen. That was awesome, Jonathan Snowden. You're a fucking douchebag. But I gotta go like 2 minutes ago. Did anybody see the horrendous debate? And I'm not talking between those two douchebags that are gonna be running the company or the country. Tito and
God.
Sonnen. Did you guys catch that fucking atrocity?
I seriously questioned when I was watching because I was like, he did not just squeeze a juice bag, like a juice box. He just
the juice box. Listen, was him crushing that apple juice box the most cheesy moment in MMA history?
Dude, Tito's never been good at talking shit, and then he did that. I'm like, he just got worse. Like, you can't get worse than that. That's the worst.
Whoever thought of that needs to be fucking shot. Yeah, for real.
God, that was bad. And then, so you know what? Sonnen wasn't that much great either. That he wasn't that good either. But Tito, what the fuck was you thinking, Tito?
And like at the same time as the juice box was getting crushed, it just made matters worse that Chael was flexing. So that was fucking horrifying.
We have fallen.
Yeah, I just had to mention how bad that was. That was epically bad. And I mean, just an
painful.
apple juice box. Who the fuck handed him an apple juice box? Ooh, Tito, smash the apple juice box. That's so fucking intimidating. What the fuck?
It was a metaphor. Yeah. It was the juice.
You know, meanwhile, his kid's next to him going, "What the fuck, Dad? I was gonna drink that shit." Like he's freaking out on his shit.
And did you notice how they had them looking at each other, like looking their directions on the screen?
Yeah, but didn't Tito do that years ago when he pointed out the bloody hotel room in the background when he was, who was he fighting? He did that years ago, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, that's the fucking point. Tito's still pulling out the bag of tricks he had in '98. Jesus Christ.
God damn it! All right.
Yep, that was bad.
That was pretty bad. All right. What's up?
You want to do a quick fight rundown? I wanted to add UFC 207, other two fights worthy of noting. We do have Fabricio Verdum, Cain Velasquez booked on that card. We also have yeah, that's correct. And we got Tim Means versus Cowboy Alex Oliveira. That's also on UFC 207. UFC 206, Cub Swanson, Korean Superboy. We have that fight booked.
I like that one.
And
that's a good one.
So yeah, there's been a couple added. And we do have Fight Night Albany. They finally booked Sean O'Connell in a fight. He's taking on Corey Beaston 25-8 Anderson.
The worst nickname in MMA.
Best.
And we got the fight. It was supposed to be the Josh Salmon fight. Joe Gelati, Olawale Bamboze is stepping in to fight Joe Gelati on that card. And Pat Cummins, John Vellante added to the Albany card. So I mean. Yeah, what do you guys think? What's the worst card? I mean, we've got a lot of title fights coming up, but like, is the Albany card kind of like the letdown leading towards the end of the year, being that it's our man Derek Lewis, who's a fucking monster, against Fred's favorite opponent, the nobody, whatever his name is, Abdurahimov. So yeah, that's kind of, yeah, but it's basically it lines up to where we may see Ngannou, Derek Lewis come out of that fight as possibly lined up for 2017 as well, though.
Right, and that's a great way to start the year. And if you're gonna do a Fox Sports 1 card, those two guys, throw those motherfuckers in there, see what happens. Yeah,
he's the co-main event in Ngannou. So if both those guys win, it wouldn't hurt to put them in a small cage, as Eddie would say. We got to see the small cage be brought back into
that 35-foot cage where you can't back up. That's the perfect cage for heavyweights. All right, let that shit go down for everybody, but especially heavyweights. Now Frederick Erickson actually brings up what I was going to talk about just real quick. Bang Bose, what's his name? His teammate just got popped for roids, right?
Oh yeah,
you see that? Correct, good got popped for roids. Now there's a picture of them two together, and they're just ripped, and they just got done working out. And Bang Bose says something like, "We are the unnatural beasts," and then I think Good gets flagged for roids. I'm like, ooh, you better hope they didn't test your ass, motherfucker. Like, ew, that's bad, Oluwale.
They was drinking out of the same bottle as John Jones.
Exactly. Yeah.
If they haven't tested him now, if they haven't tested him before, they'll test him now.
Oh, they're on their way. They're driving to his house right now. That dude's trying to hide somewhere under the fucking bed or some shit.
Cage.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you,
John Jones hanging out. It worked last time.
I guess we'll all be wondering the next time USADA steps up to test old Tim Kennedy. Let's end the show on that note.
Yes, please, let's end the show on Tim Kennedy. Somebody batter the fucking front of his face through his arsehole, will they?
All right. And then the other thing I said, the reason that the Verdum Cain Velasquez fight to me is like, maybe we'll see it. One, Cain gets hurt a lot. Two, Verdum just shit talked Reebok, told him to suck his balls on Instagram. Yeah. Now, I don't know. Like that, now he's outside of fight week, so he doesn't have to rep them at all, but he told him to suck his balls. I'm sure Dana White was like, come on, dude, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. All right, fellas, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Thanks to everyone for watching. Mike Jars, Frederick for tuning in. Davey Boy was on for a while. We got Almighty Hamilton, that's a hell of a name. Meanie and Mac, of course, as usual, always popping in. Appreciate it. Art Bell made an appearance, and everybody else that watches appreciate it. You can follow Jesse at Spawat1983. Kirby is at Kirby_MMA. Dave is at Dave's MMA Brief, and Andy doesn't give a fuck. So that's kind of where we're at. And you can follow me at Elau31. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.